Very good morning, students. In this module, we are going to learn in detail about the RDNA technology. So already in the previous session, we have discussed the overview, basic overview of RDNA technology, isn't it? Now, in this particular session, we will be discussing in detail the flowchart of the steps that are involved in RDNA technology. As I said earlier, RDT is nothing but R is for recombination, isn't it? You are joining two DNA molecules of two different organisms to get a desired trait of gene, which will give something like expression, which is lacking in a human being, isn't it? So you will be isolating the particular gene of interest and you will be subjecting it for cloning, and then you will get multiple copies of that particular gene, isn't it? So now we are going in detailed explanation for the process of RDNA technology. So yesterday in the previous session we have discussed the basic flowchart of RDNA technology. Okay, now in terms of biology, we will go into this particular session. Okay, so in this particular session, as I said earlier, RDNA technology is nothing but combination, recombining your two different DNA molecules is RDNA technology, RDT. So in this, previously, before, for instance, let me tell you that nowadays you need, not only nowadays, if you are isolating insulin, isn't it? How you will get this insulin? This insulin is very important. It is having very research value, isn't it? Because nowadays everybody needs this particular insulin. So how you will get more number copies of this insulin? So first, initially, you will isolate your desired gene. How you will isolate? So this is your whole genome from human being. Human insulin is isolated from the isolates of Langerhans. Isolates of Langerhans. These cells contains your insulin, isn't it? Which is a protein. And these are subjected to treated with enzymatic digestion, treated with enzymatic hydrolysis, isn't it? So what is that particular enzyme? So when it is treated with enzymes, so what are those enzymes? So before treating with enzymes, your whole genome should be isolated. So there are different steps for the isolation of your desired gene. So two steps, from mRNA and from natural source, isn't it? So from mRNA, as I said earlier in your previous session, I have explained about reverse transcription. Reverse transcription means you will be preparing, you will get the synthesis of DNA molecule with the help of mRNA. So this is your mRNA isolated from the isolates of Langerhans, cells of isolates of Langerhans from human beings. So then you will get insulin, isn't it? So in that particular cells, first initially you will isolate your mRNA molecules. So from your isolate of Langerhans, then these mRNA molecules are treated with reverse transcriptase enzyme to produce DNA molecule. So this mRNA is treated with RT, reverse transcriptase, to produce DNA molecule. So hence the desired DNA is obtained from your whole gene. So this gene contains your insulin. Next, this DNA will be treated with your restriction endonucleases, and the next process will be continued, isn't it? So next is from your natural source. So again these cells are first initially they are homogenized. So these are the two steps for isolation of your desired gene, that is your insulin. So initially first mRNA, next this mRNA is treated with reverse transcriptase enzyme, then DNA molecule is produced. Now for your natural source, first this particular cells are homogenized. After homogenization, it is used for removal of all your cell wall. Next, this homogenized solution is again treated for centrifugation. So after centrifugation, all your cell debris will be removed. Next again it is treated with NaCl. So again with the addition of NaCl, what happens? All your protein molecules will get removed. Next, the particular pellet, what it is present, purification, this pellet is again treated with ethanol. So after addition of ethanol, your DNA and your histone protein molecules will be get separated and only your desired DNA molecule is obtained. So this is how you will get DNA molecule from the desired DNA gene from your these two steps, that is from mRNA and from your natural source. So the isolation of desired gene is obtained from two steps, from your mRNA and from your natural source. So this is the first in detail step for isolation of desired gene. Okay, so your isolated DNA is again treated with enzymes for enzymatic hydrolysis. So what kind of enzymes are generally used? They are restriction endonucleases. So this is the second step. Okay, so what kind of enzymes are generally used? Restriction endonucleases. So restriction endonucleases these are a class of endonucleases which cleaves your DNA molecule at a particular specific site. Okay, so those are known as restriction endonucleases. These are first introduced by Arthur. Okay, so Arthur first introduced and isolated this restriction endonucleases. These enzymes generally have two performance, that is modification and restriction cutting site. Okay, modification and cleavage activity. First, initially, what is these particular endonucleases do? They will first go and recognize your particular restrictor site on your DNA molecule. After recognition of that particular restrictor site, they will go and cleave your DNA molecule at a specific site. So these are the two different steps for your restriction endonucleases. Restriction endonucleases are of three types: type 1, type 2 and type 3. Type 1 is generally not used. It is having a very low research value. They are not generally used in your research activities. Why? Because they will cleave your DNA at a specific site, that particular restriction site. Suppose think that this is your DNA molecule and this particular DNA molecule is having restriction site at this region, but type 1 enzymes will go and cleave your DNA molecule far from your restriction site. So they are not much used, they are not having much, they are very little biological value. So they are not used in your research purpose. Next, coming to type 2, they are generally used for your research activity. Why? Because the restriction site and the recognition site is very similar here. So the enzymes which is having that particular recognition site on the DNA molecule and the restriction site, both of them are very nearer to it. So suppose think that this is your DNA molecule, this is your restriction recognition site and this is your cleavage site. So both of them are same, very nearer to each other. So this is generally used in your research activity. Coming to type 3, this is a very moderately used. This is also not general use. Why? Because it is having both modification and cleavage activity, but also as in this particular enzymes, the cleavage and the recognition sequence are far at around 20 to 30 base pairs. So this is also not much used for your research activity. So these are the three different types of restriction endonucleases. Restriction endonucleases are also known as molecular scissors. Molecular means they will cleave, they will cut your DNA molecule, isn't it? So they are known as molecular scissors. They will cleave your DNA molecule. As I said earlier, one more thing. Coming to the nomenclature of your restriction endonucleases, how the naming of the enzyme is given. So the naming of the enzyme is given according to the initial name is given according to the genus, next is species, next is strain, next order of discovery. Okay, so these are the four important points for your nomenclature, for giving naming of your restriction enzyme. So initially according to the genus, for example, EcoR1. So E coli, coli and R, it is written in italics. R is your strain and 1 is your order of discovery. E. coli from order 1 of strain R, and 3 Haemophilus influenza with strain number order of 3. Okay, so these are the type 2 restriction endonucleases. So these are the enzymes that are used for your isolation of desired gene from your whole genome. Okay, so these are the enzymes that are generally used. Now the obtained DNA fragments, what have obtained here, they are of different sizes. Some of them may be very small, some of them may be very large. So these genes, these DNA fragments contains your gene of interest. So this is your gene of interest fragment, and this fragment is again treated with your restriction enzymes. Why? Why? Because after treating with restriction enzymes, there is an important activity where how does this particular restriction endonucleases will cleave your DNA molecule. In two modes, this particular enzymes will cleave your DNA molecule. It is having two types. First is it will produce blunt ends. It will produce blunt ends and cohesive ends. So blunt ends means when DNA molecule is treated with, suppose think that this is your DNA molecule. When this DNA molecule is treated with restriction endonucleases, these enzymes will produce two types of cuts, blunt ends and cohesive ends. Blunt end means it will produce two equal sections of your DNA molecule, isn't it? So no equal sized DNA molecules are produced. Both of them are in equal size. Not each fragment will protrude another fragment, isn't it? So these are blunt ends. Next, whenever DNA molecule is treated with restriction enzymes, they may also produce cohesive ends. Means one strand will protrude your another strand. This is what your cohesive strands, cohesive ends. One strand protrudes from another strand. So these are cohesive ends. Got it? So these are known as cohesive ends or protruding ends. These are blunt ends. Okay. So these are the two different types of cuts that are produced when DNA molecule is treated with restriction endonuclease. So these are the two different types of cuts. So here these are protruding ends. So these protruding ends produced DNA gene should be introduced with the vector DNA, isn't it? In the yesterday's class, in the previous session, I have already explained you that. So this particular desired gene should be introduced, should be inserted in your vector DNA, isn't it? So up to here we have finished isolation of desired gene, isolation of plasmid. Now how this plasmid to be isolated? The whole story, whatever I have said in this particular session up to here, the whole story is lying here only. Isolation of desired gene with restriction endonucleases and restriction endonucleases of three types and different types of cuts related with your restriction endonuclease, isn't it? Now next story is with your isolation of plasmid. So how isolation of plasmid is done? Now up to here you have isolated the desired gene. Now coming to the isolation of plasmid, when from your bacteria only you will isolate your plasmid, isn't it? Plasmid is nothing but a vector which carries your desired gene. So vector DNA plus your desired gene is known as rDNA molecule or chimeric DNA molecule, isn't it? So how this plasmid DNA to be isolated? It is treated with the bacteria is treated with EDT and lysozyme and with Laurel succinate. Then your plasmid DNA is isolated. Now this plasmid DNA is again treated with restriction endonucleases. It will get protruding ends. Now the half cut protruding end plasmid DNA is treated with your protruding end of your desired DNA, right? So these both will get united with ligase enzyme. So this is your rDNA molecule. That is your chimeric DNA molecule. Vector DNA plus your desired DNA. So this is your chimeric DNA molecule. So this is your produced rDNA molecule. Now this produced rDNA molecule is inserted. So this is your insertion of desired gene into the plasmid. Now this is your produced rDNA molecule. Now this produced rDNA molecule is introduced into a bacteria for production of multiple copies of insulin, isn't it? So this is the whole story. In the next coming sessions, I will explain you how you will select these particular rDNA cells in your organism. Up to here, this is the protocol. These are the different strategies this is the main mechanism for production of your rDNA molecule, right? So once again I am repeating in details, listen here. rDNA technology, RDT is nothing but recombination DNA technology. Here recombinant DNA technology, where you will get two DNA molecules rejoined with the help of the ligase enzyme, and after joining these two DNA molecules of two different organisms, they will produce your rDNA molecule. So the desired gene induced with the vector DNA is nothing but your chimeric DNA molecule or your rDNA molecule, right? So this is the whole story for your rDNA technology. This is the main principle lying behind your rDNA technology. So this is the whole genome. For example, for instance, we are taking isolation of insulin, isn't it? So insulin is obtained from isolates of Langerhans. From isolates of Langerhans cells, mRNA molecule, and from natural source also you can isolate your gene, human insulin, and then it is treated with restriction nucleases. Next, the obtained desired gene is inserted with your plasmid DNA. Why vector is used? Because different DNA sized molecules of desired gene can carry your vector DNA, can carry your vector in your vector DNA into the organism, isn't it? It is used for carrier purpose only. So you need plasmids, cosmids, bacteriophages, whatever, depending upon the size of your DNA molecule. Got it? So this is the principle of rDNA technology. Got it? Thank you.